Yo, what's up, everyone? You're tuned in to Ill Vibe Theory, your number one source for underground hip-hop in the Las Vegas Valley. We are a listener supported by 91.5, the Rebel HD2, KUNV Las Vegas, the broadcast service of UNLV. And we got two very, 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 very special guests in the studio today. Introduce yourself.
Samantha Joe Alonso, a.k.a. at Sammy Joe Fruition, Sammy Joe, Captain Samerica, Sam I Am, born and raised, LV on my back.
There we go.
And
Let's cheers.
Alexa Gabrielle Alonso, a.k.a. Alexa Fruition.
Yeah.
There we go.
We out here.
So if you guys don't know what Fruition is, let's let them know. What is Fruition?
Fruition, limitless in life and style. Concept retail store that I opened back in 2005 when I was 21 years old. I was actually in the middle of my marketing degree here at UNLV. A dream was placed in my heart to pursue fashion in a city that at that time was lacking in culture a little bit. So really just wanted to be proactive in breaking the chains of limitations,
Definitely.
you know, and representing new possibilities in a landscape where there's so much open opportunity to live your dreams. So 2005, opened that. Fast forward to 2013. My God, it's been 8 years, thank God.
Crazy.
Opened our second space in Los Angeles, June 1st, actually.
Wow.
So we carry an amalgamation of Fruition vintage alongside avant-garde designers from all over the world. So being able to parallel, contemporary, streetwear, high fashion, ready-to-wear, and vintage, and being able to educate our consumer and all the parallels between each design.
Wow. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
The whole nine.
So I met you a few months ago, actually. It hasn't even been that long. It was like, I think, February? Sometime around the first, or maybe it was last year. I can't even remember. It was one of the Magics that I went to, the first one.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. So
Oh, you met her just
last year, yeah.
Oh,
And I
know
just
that.
went up to her. I was like, I just got to go talk to her. Like, I just got to go say something. And it was at the Undefeated party.
Yes. And
Yeah.
what I loved about you is your initiative.
Thank you.
You know, your initiative to engage in conversation, and that's when I realized that you were a very special, action-oriented leader.
That means so much.
But on top of that too, like just like I met Sam like when I was like I think 15 years old, sophomore in high school.
Yes.
I was doing a lot of like research, I guess you could say, in like streetwear and the fashion industry and just a lot of different things, and a lot of names ring the bell in like Las Vegas and whoever had, you know, a reign in doing such, you know, things in the industry, and the names Samantha Joe Alonso came up and Chris Julian.
Yeah.
And obviously that pointed to the store, Fruition, and I was just like, yo, like I couldn't drive or anything. I'd be like, yo, Mom, can you take me to like this, you know, there, and then like Stussy and Undefeated. So it's been a long time coming. I've really looked up to her as a really big inspiration in my life for like a minute now. So
Oh,
you know,
you guys, that means a lot to me.
yeah.
Definitely. And I remember visiting Fruition. One of my classmates was like, have you ever been to this store? And I was like, no, I've never heard of it, you know? And I was probably around that same age, around 15. And I think Nate was the only one there. And he has such a great
Nate
heart, you know?
Fruition.
Shout out to Nate. So
Shout out to Nate.
Exactly. And then he was just, I don't know, like how you say the experience of having a conversation and changing it from just not them being a customer. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, for us, it's always been about being able to create a memory with our customer, you know, and I always encourage anyone that works with Fruition that it's not necessarily about the transaction, but it's more about the relationships that could become transformational. You know, I talk about turning transactional relationships to transformational ones, but I think getting to know a person, getting to know their intentions, getting to know their dreams and their hearts is why we open Fruition. You know, Fruition means the realization of your dreams desired, and there's nothing more that I want than to use Fruition as a platform that's going to speak life into these dreams that live in Las Vegas. So just like my relationships with you guys, this is all a conversation that started at Fruition, and now, you know, we're honored to call each other friends. Yeah. And to me, that is a gift. I don't feel like everybody that walks through the store is a blessing, and I want to celebrate that. I want to celebrate individuality. I want to use a store as a platform that's going to educate people and inspire people to celebrate who they are, and be bold individualists for life. And whatever talents that our customers have, we're always about celebrating those gifts.
That's incredible.
And then making you look fresh.
Yeah.
And, introducing you to the new brands, the new designers, that all comes with it. But it really is about changing the culture in Las Vegas. Together we could do so much more than just doing things individually. And I think as born and raised locals, it's up for us to change the culture in Las Vegas. I think people look at Las Vegas and they think what happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas. And, for people like you and I who are hungry for, an environment that's, like Soho in New York or Paris or Tokyo or out Los Angeles even. I think it's critical that we all come together as a community to create a vision that's strictly just Las Vegas in a new way.
Definitely. And I know when I went up to you at the Undefeated party, I was working on an assignment for one of my journalism classes, and I was like, I'm doing a feature story. I want to do it on you and Mission Impossible and all that other stuff, and we'll get into that later. So when we had this conversation, we were on, I think, Skype or something.
Yeah, I remember that. I loved it.
We were talking for like a few hours.
A few hours?
We were talking for hours, and the time just went away because she's such an inspirational individual.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like how I was feeling about the lack of culture, and I was like, I'm tired of Vegas, I want to leave and all these other things. And she was like, no, you have to change it. You have to be the one to do that, So
Absolutely.
Could you talk a little bit about how people can do that in a way, or like kind of refer back to that conversation a little?
I think if you want to grow and become the best person that you could be and be a light in your city, you have to be intentional about it, and I think that's the biggest thing, is being intentional about the gifts that we have. I think we all have these special gifts, unique gifts that we were blessed to have, but who's going to be proactive about living those dreams? Mm-hmm. Who's willing to take that leap of faith, So I just encourage everyone that again, we got to change the temperature in Las Vegas, and it begins with the gifts that was given to us.
Definitely. Definitely. Did you have anything there?
I'm not really off top.
So let's go back into Mission Impossible. Let's talk a little bit about what that is, how it was founded, and all of that.
Mission Impossible. So that was honestly, that was a personal journey that began in 2010. I started running simply to dream. I run to dream. I run to give birth to my ideas, because I feel like at those most uncomfortable moments during, a 20-mile run, you have no choice but to think about yourself and your life and the ideas that you do have. So that's why I have like this really great addiction to running, because when I hit a creative wall, I get out on that runway. We call it a runway because we're tying in fashion and fitness. Once I get back out on that runway, everything just becomes so clear. Everything, all the ideas that I have in my mind just fall into divine order when I hit those miles. So I got into running 2010. Started training for my first marathon on January 1st. Actually, that was the first. Wow. January 1st, 2010, I ran the first 10 miles of my life, right? Because I was just running 2, 4, 6 miles, and I'm like, you know what? It's New Year's Day. I'm going to run 10 miles today. And during that, I was like, you know what? During my 10 miles, I'm like, I'm going to run a marathon. Literally got home that day from my 10-miler, and I looked up what the next marathon was going to be, and it was the Los Angeles Marathon. And started training, did a really fast training program. It was an 8-week program, pretty intense, but I was up for the challenge. And what did I do? March, I forget, somewhere in March, it was the Los Angeles Marathon. Ran that first marathon. And during that training season, so much was revealed to me. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to reimagine running to this culture. I'm going to make running relevant to our culture. I'm going to, Nike's going to be attracted to what I'm doing with this whole running and lifestyle and bringing fashion into it. And it was during that training season that all of these different dreams started to surface. But after I accomplished my first marathon, I was like, I'm going to do 5 marathons in one day. Or not one day, excuse me. I'd be Superwoman, I'd be Wonder Woman. 5 marathons in 1 year. And on top of that, I'm going to, raise awareness about different philanthropies that I believe in. And I'm just going to do it. And, that was a huge year. I did LA, I did San Francisco, I did Chicago, New York, and Las Vegas. So all the 5 core metropolitan cities in the U.S. So then, fast forward 2011, I was like, okay, I'm just tired of running by myself. The experience that you go through when you run during a marathon and that victory that you feel at the end of that finish line, I can't even put into words what those emotions are, but they're great emotions that I encourage everybody to be a part of. So that's why I started the Mission Impossible Collective, because I wanted my customers to see how your life can truly transform if you just hit that runway and you flip your perspective about running, about what running is. Running is a very arduous thing to do. It's like, running, no thank you, I don't run, I'm a sprinter, or I don't do long distance, or I can't breathe, or I get a cramp under my right rib. Whatever the excuses are, I wanted to shift that perspective and say, you know what, I understand that you go through all these things physically, but guess what? You could run to dream, and guess what? You could actually run and have a clearer vision for your life. So fast forward to 2011, I called my friends one day. I said, "Hey, I'm starting a weekly run called Mission Impossible. Will you come run?" And literally that first day, I had 13 people run with me at Desert Breeze Park, and I was so excited. And then it started to just become a weekly thing, and a whole new level of leadership was required. And at that moment, I realized, wow, I'm committing myself to a community that is never going to end, So that was 2011, and I've been doing that for a few years now, but it was only until recently, about maybe 6 or 7 months ago, a lot of my customers have been contacting me because they've been wanting to start a Mission Impossible in their cities. But I would always say, no, I have to be there, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to be the same without, a core person being there. Until I realized that I cannot be everywhere at the same time. And there was a moment that clicked when I was driving in my car. I feel like a lot of these clicking moments happen in my car when I'm driving by myself. But God was like, child, you cannot be everywhere at the same time. These unique, beautifully gifted leaders have walked into your store for a reason, and they weren't just to be your customers. They're going to be leaders for your Mission Impossible groups, wherever you want to start. And so that day I called, I got in contact with a few people that had been contacting me, and I said, hey, you ready to start this? And they're like, yeah. So it's at the end of 2013, and we are in 9 chapters now. We are in Vegas, LA, Sacramento, Chicago, Virginia, Miami, Boca Raton, and DC, and Akron, crazy. Ohio. And they're all led by creatives, and for us, this isn't about competition, it's about community. And they're all led by cool creative individuals who are in music, who are DJs, who are in fashion, who are culture shakers and movers. So, fashion and the creative is our foundation, and we run to be able to activate more creativity out of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yo, it's so crazy how she just says it all casually. She's like, yeah, we got the chapters in Miami, Chicago.
I know.
And it's truly just hearing what she said. It's definitely advocating from my experience with the team. It's definitely been a blessing. I never thought that running would be such an experience when you're put together with such amazing people. And you give it a purpose or a real purpose and that goes beyond anything else. And I'm it's funny because me and Kaylin actually ran our first marathon, Las Vegas. We didn't.
You did great.
Yeah, yo, we really didn't expect doing that. I was yeah, I'm not gonna be able to run, but then
We started at like midnight.
Yeah, what was the day before we were doing it?
It was like a Saturday.
It was the meeting at their house, and so we were at a meeting for Mission Impossible team. It's like before the actual Las Vegas Rock and Roll Marathon, and it's like we were gonna run the half. It was the half of the half is the 13 miles, and how long was the full? It was like 26.
Half is 13.1, and a full is 26.2. Those .2s and those .1s, they count.
Yeah,
They sure do.
So,
They sure do, and they feel like the longest miles sometimes.
It's so crazy though. Like, so me and Caitlin had like no training,
None.
like nothing. So we were just like, hey, you just want to like do the half, like just let's do it, like just because.
Run by faith.
Yo,
Not by
seriously,
sight,
like,
right?
And Alexa encouraged that
yeah,
as well.
yeah. She's like, just do it, like.
She's like, call out of work. Come on,
yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
So I went to my job the next day, and I was like, you know what? I have to run this marathon. Like, I have to do this. And I just explained it to her. And my manager
remember.
she started crying. I was like, why are you crying? Like, come on. But she let me do it, and it was the most incredible experience.
And after that whole situation, like, I don't like hearing excuses from nobody. Like,
no.
I had no training doing it. And although, like, man, let me just tell you, though, like, I was at the 9-10 mile mark. And then, like, I got this thing. I went to the doctor and everything. They said I got like this thing called plantar fasciitis. But anyway, I'm not gonna go deep into that. Just know I got hurt and I wasn't able to run the rest. But just know I ran like 9 to 10 miles without any training. Kaylin finished it. So just word to everybody. Like, we out here. Like,
no,
we out
you
here.
really
Like,
can do it. And even after that marathon, I remember I was writing an essay, and it was one of the really long ones for school. And I was like, I really don't feel like doing this, And I was like, no, I just ran a 13.1 marathon on nothing,
Yeah,
like, I could do
Yes, you can.
For real. So
It's
Mission
empowering,
Impossible.
Yeah. I think it gives people a level of confidence that never surfaced before, and I think that victory, again, it's kind of unexplainable how overwhelming those emotions are when you cross that finish line. But it's big breakthroughs. But I always tell my runners, that breakthrough and that victory isn't in that finish line. It's at that start, because the start is where most people stop. And when you get to that 10 or 11 miles, it's like, or for the fullers, San Francisco, we were at mile 22 and we're like, yeah, we got this. Then we got to mile 24 and we're like, all right, guys, hard is where it happens. Like, let's go. Let's do this. We only have 2.2 miles left, but it's like the longest journey of our lives. But it's great. I think what Mission Impossible, what Fruition has done is we've built it's built an encouraging community. I think being rooted in fashion, there's a lot of barriers there. There's many masks that are worn. Everyone's too cool for each other. Conversations aren't initiated because it's like, no, I'm like too cool for that, or I have all the fly gear on, like people should talk to me or whatever. So I feel like just being in fashion, we have that responsibility to break down those walls, break down those barriers, and really build trust with each other. And I think Mission Impossible has done that for people, because I think when we're all training, we're all struggling together. Like, you can't be too cool for each other, because the cool guy could actually be the one struggling the most. You know?
Exactly.
So it provides a level of we kind of humanize what fashion and sport is to this culture. And I love it. I love all of our leaders. I love that everybody wakes up with a servant heart, willing and ready to give. I think we always talk about being able to run to serve, and it's just pretty refreshing and incredible when everyone's call to action to come together to encourage each other, to encourage a community, and they just again consistently wake up with a very altruistic spirit. So very honored, very, very honored that these transactional relationships have now turned into transformational ones.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that stood out to me, so before the marathon, we had that dinner at your house. And so we had the testimonies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing that really stood out to me, I mean, you and Christian both had the same question. It was, what in life makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
And I wanted you to reiterate what you said when you answered that question.
What in life makes me uncomfortable? I think safety, stability, being in a very comfortable place makes me uncomfortable. And I think that's a lot of people are afraid of feeling uncomfortable, when really, when you're uncomfortable, when you're in an area of unknown, that's where you give birth to some of your greatest dreams, right?
So true.
When you put all your eggs in one basket and you take that leap of faith, and you're literally walking by faith and not by sight. And yeah, I think uncomfortable is a very healthy thing for somebody, you know, especially for those who have dreams to make a dent in the universe. Like, you have to get uncomfortable. You got to get your feet wet and say, you know what, like, I don't know where this is going, but I do know this is what I love to do. And I do know that this is the calling that was put in my life. I have no idea how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to do it. You know, just going back to Fruition in 2005, 21 years old, I didn't even finish school. I decided I was finished, you know, myself and my partner, Chris Julian. And we had a dream in our hearts to really disrupt the city in a positive way. And had I sat there and measured whether or not I was capable enough to do it, next to what my maybe inadequacies were, because I had no idea what the internal side of business was, I probably would have said, you know what, I'm not going to do that yet because I'm not ready, you know? And I just encourage people, when you have that dream and when you have that fire in your belly, you just got to act now, you know? I was working out the other day in LA, and this guy had come up to me and said, you know, you're in really great shape. So somebody like me, how do I get started? And I said, just get started. You know, don't give yourself time to think about it. Don't think, you know, don't give yourself a moment to say, you know what, I can't do it because it's too hard, because that's when you let fear come in, you know, and fear is false evidence appearing real, right? It's just like this fake thing that we like to glamorize, when really it could actually, you know, kill our dreams. So being uncomfortable is a great place to be. You know, and I feel like you are doing something right when you are in that area of the unknown, but you know that that's the direction that you're supposed to be heading in, because it's your gifts, you know, and in order to see these dreams and your gifts really come to fruition, it's going to require you to feel a little hesitant, you know, and climb this wall that looks so impossible. You know, I'm on a new journey right now, in a new season where I'm going to evolve Mission Impossible into a nonprofit. Like, wait, what do I know about a nonprofit? Like, what am I talking about right now? But it was put in my heart, you know. We just serve so many people, and, you know, we're bigger than just running. We're running with a purpose. But again, I'm not going to sit there and say, you know, I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to do it, you know. And I believe, because of the running community and the fashion community that supports us, I believe it's possible, you know, and everyone is just willing to help. So next year, nonprofit, you know, mind you, at the time when I was like 19, 18 years old, just, you know, just getting into college, I was like, what's philanthropy, you know, and here I am, you know, 10, 11 years later, I'm like all about philanthropy, and it's just cool to see things come full circle. But, you know, I think, you know, one of the pastors said that 2013 was a year of survival, but 2014 is going to be a year of arrival. And I'm confident in that statement. You know, I'm very confident in the vision that's ahead of us, and all the blessings and favor that's going to come to life in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
And man, just like, as you can see, you can definitely see, like Sam is a really big inspiration, not just to me, but everybody, you know, a lot of people that I know. And back in high school, when I was doing like my research and all this stuff, like it's just hard to, like, I urge everyone to, like, everything she just said, like, in regards to like overcoming fear and risk taking, is something that takes a lot of courage and a lot of, like, I guess, discovering of who you are as an individual. And, you know, back when I was in high school, it wasn't that many kids who knew what they wanted to do or who was chasing a dream like that. And I don't think a lot of people know what it's like to chase a dream. So I urge everyone to, like, you know, just what she said, just go out there and overcome and discover who you are. And it's like, you know, if you can see someone like her do it, you know, as long as you put in your hard work and your faith into something like that, it's definitely possible.
Definitely. So. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, it's been a thing that has been a trial for myself. Casey Veggies, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a LA artist. He has this project called Sleeping in Class. Okay. And I always listen to what he talks about with it. He says, like, I always felt like I was sleeping in class because I had, you know, he had his dream of becoming an artist and doing all these things, but you have your balance of priorities. You have family, you have school, you have, you know, all these different things. So I wanted to ask you, how do you manage to, you know, control all of that?
I don't know. Am I managing right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm doing it great. I think it's a work in progress kind of thing, and by the grace of God, I think we're all equipped with exactly what we need. I have a very clear understanding that I was given these different roles of leadership. I was given these gifts and talents because I'm strong enough to withstand them. I'm strong enough to lead communities, and I'm strong enough to lead businesses. Am I doing it well? I'm just going to do my best, and I always just hope to continue to do my best. And we're not even talking about family or marriage yet, and that's going to happen in the next 5 years. Who knows how that's all going to all happen. But I do know by the grace of God, and I think it is important for anybody who is in a position where they're kind of spread out in 5 different areas, 10 different areas, that you have to take time for yourself. You have to take time in solitude, and you really have to invest in yourself as much as you're investing into your work, into your dreams, into your family, into your friends, into your communities. You have to come back to yourself and say, you know what, I got to fill myself back up in order to give out more, because you can't give out what you don't have. And I think for me that that's what gives me balance. I take time. I spend a lot of time on my own, and I love it. I love being able to kind of, go away for a few hours, and I just come back refreshed and rejuvenated and filled up to give out again. So yeah, I back to that balance thing, I'm learning every day, and I don't know if it could ever be done perfect. All my, everyone's like, Sam, what are you doing for New Year's? What are you doing for your birthday? And I'm like, I'm not there yet, but I will know day of, so, I think that's where organization comes into place. I'm using my calendar a lot more. I use my moleskin notebook, which is so clutch for anybody that's that's running a business or pursuing their dreams. But I have my notebook right here, but like if you could take a look here, it's like broken into different buckets. I have the Fruition page, and I have the Mission Impossible page, and within these pages I have different buckets, from in-store, administrative, sales strategy, internships, social media. So being as organized and efficient as possible, and I'm the kind of person that likes to check things off my list so that I could remember what I did, because I think at the end of the day you kind of look back at your day and you're like, what did I feel like I did nothing today, because it's just so overwhelmingly crazy, right? So I like to write things down, and just growing and doing my best and putting my best foot forward. So
definitely. And we're going to take a quick break from this conversation because we could go forever with you.
Yes, we can.
So we have a real quick promotional, so here we go. All right, what's up, everyone? You're tuned in to Ill Vibe Theory, your number one source for underground hip-hop in the Las Vegas Valley. We are a listener supported by 91.5, the Rebel HD2, KUNV Las Vegas, the broadcast service of UNLV. So we just took a break from that very inspirational conversation we were just having, and during our break we were talking about your tour with D'Angelo. Can you get into that a little bit? That's crazy.
Yes. I was on tour with D'Angelo. We did the international tour as well as a domestic tour. That was last year. Just met him through a friend of a friend in LA, and started working with this musical genius, and it was an incredible journey. It was an incredible journey to travel. I think we did like 8 countries in 2 weeks, and the domestic tour was like 16 cities across the nation. But it was cool to see such a pure musician, and to see him on stage every night was a real blessing. I mean, this is music that we grew up with, and again, just a musical genius. But to see it live every night, it was actually the Mary J. Blige tour, the domestic one. And my God, just to be in the presence of these talented and gifted people was really mind-blowing.
Talk about, I don't think people realize how much you've done. Can you just give us some of your highlights of your life, or just,
Oh my gosh.
When you hear how humble you are about it, it's just insane. Yeah. What are some of your top
5? Seriously,
top
from
5.
I don't think 5 is enough.
Backstage,
5 isn't enough.
Coachella, Kanye, what else? Tell her.
5 breakthroughs.
You could do more than 5 because I know there's 5.
Definitely fruition. Definitely fruition. Being at the age of 21 years old and taking that leap of faith in a city that just needed it, you know? So fruition first and foremost, because I think without the birth of fruition, all of the other things wouldn't have, all of these best moments and breakthrough moments wouldn't have happened in my life. I always talk about fruition being a mustard seed dream. It was just this little dream that we had. But when we were proactive about it and we made it come to life, that's when it just like an abundance just opened up, you know, a limitless abundance. Like I never thought that I would be styling D'Angelo, traveling the world doing that. You know, I never thought that I would be running Mission Impossible. Not at all, you know. So first, fruition, that's the mother. That's the you know, making your dreams a reality kind of idea. So fruition, and then from there, let's see, Mission Impossible, accomplishing all those marathons and raising funds for philanthropy. And of course, the Mission Impossible Collective, that's just continuing to grow into a nonprofit. I think next year we have a plan of getting to like 25 chapters. So that's going to be the next goal for 2014. We actually could have easily met maybe 15 chapters by the end of this year, but I had to put a cap on it because I was like, okay, guys, this is growing so fast. We need structure. We need a committee. We need a board. Where are we at? You know, so definitely Mission Impossible. Traveling with D'Angelo was a big highlight. Just being able to travel the world in that way. And living your dreams at the same time and doing what you love, that's a pretty special moment in my life. I also lived in New York for a year, which was life-changing. New York swept me off my feet, I'll tell you that. Best experience of my life, and I feel like God brought me out there to just kind of show me that, you know, it's possible to do it in New York, and just give me a peek into my dreams, because one of my dreams is to open a Fruition in New York. So I feel like my year, definitely, and you know, my year there, I got to see it from a local perspective. You know, the ins and outs of this beautiful city where so much is going on. So living in New York and working with Nike was an incredible experience, and I did that for a year. And let's see, what else are some breakthrough moments? I think those are my top 4 or 5. Oh, LA, opening Fruition LA. How could I forget? Fruition LA, June 1st, 2013. We opened that store in 30 days. And that was a big breakthrough. I was still in New York, and you know, that opportunity came through Dov Charney, the American Apparel CEO, and he's been a customer at Fruition for a few years and just always believed in the vision of Fruition. I think he saw a lot of himself in us, and he would always say, "Hey, I get you're in Vegas, but you need to be in LA. You need to be in LA. You need to be in LA." And we would always be like, "Okay." And one day he said, "Okay, I have a storefront that I use for a storage space next to my first American Apparel location in Silver Lake Echo Park area. Can you guys open a store?" We're like, "Sure." "Great. Open. When should we open?" Now. I'm like, okay. So, you know, here's my partner where he's in, that's another breakthrough, Unknown in Miami. He opened, that's Chris Julian. He opened that store back in 2011 with LeBron James when LeBron got signed to Miami Heat. So that's a big breakthrough. So here he is in Miami. Here's my team in Vegas. And here I am in New York, and no one's in LA. And I'm like, okay, we're just Quattro Coastal now. But, you know, we made it happen in 30 days. And that was a really beautiful journey. Again, a very uncertain place, because you're like, okay, we have to build out from scratch. We have to get all new inventory. But, you know, we gave it our all. You know, nobody achieves anything great by going and giving the minimum. So that was a big breakthrough for 2013.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just recently, you just had your conversation with, what was it called? You remember this with Stitch Factory?
Yes.
And you had
that was a good moment too.
That was incredible.
Okay. Now I could talk about a few more. Yes. Okay. So I had a talk at Stitch Factory, but prior to that, I actually spoke at a church at a youth conference. And again, you know, you become proactive about one dream, which was Fruition. Never did I think ever that I would be speaking at a youth conference, let alone at a church, you know? But how that happened was a customer of mine, his name is David Osborne. He came into Fruition maybe a few years ago. And he's actually the one that reached out to me about this conference. I had no idea that he was a youth pastor for this church. And he had approached me last year about doing this conference this year. So I think that was definitely a big breakthrough moment, because I've never spoken at a church before, but it's definitely my heart to do, speaking engagements like that. So that happened June 26th. And then Stitch Factory is great, because that's the first time in Samantha Joe Alonso history that I got to really speak in the Las Vegas community and really pour my heart and passion and what I believe in for Las Vegas. That's the first time I really got to share my story from start to finish. Even like having my mom there and having her hear like the story from where it started and where it is now. I think everybody knows the story, but to hear it in a presentation was pretty epic.
And that presentation was flawless. I even left work. I left work early. I always have these work engagements. I'm like, no, I have to go. Like, I can't do this. So,
I'll be honest with you. I was
it was great.
Terrified. I think preparing for that message and that talk, I was literally sitting at home for like 3 days, just mapping out what I was going to say. I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but it has to, it all has to coalesce in a very seamless way. And, I think that morning I just woke up with this peace in my heart. And, I said to myself, Samantha, you're speaking from a place that you've been through. You're speaking from a place that's genuine and real. You have nothing to worry about. You're not making anything up. So just be you and be who you are. And I woke up with a level of peace. But thank you. That's encouraging. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But that's when I was like, I would love to do more speaking engagements. It's always encouraging for me to talk about the history of Fruition and where it is, and really a dream to be in front of people.
Exactly. And even just how you speak so effortlessly. Like you guys saying, we're not prepared. I'm like, you don't need to be prepared. Like you have it just in general. So for you to be able to share that story, I don't feel like enough people have heard it, and I want people to feel like we feel each time that we are running or just in your presence, So I really appreciate that, and that's why we really needed this interview. I'd been contacting Samantha every time she was here. I was like, you have to come. People need to hear, So for today to happen is very special.
Yeah, we have to come together to create change and facilitate growth, and Vegas conditions, they require movement from us, who all have these different visions and dreams that we have in our hearts. They will require movement. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen by like standing still, and I'm really over people really hating on Las Vegas when there's so much beautiful people and beautiful dreams that live in the city, So, it's exciting. Oh, another breakthrough moment is the Made with Love outreach that we started.
Yes.
Made with Love was launched on Thanksgiving Day this year, and literally just one of those ideas that came on my heart, and I was like, hey guys, again, not thinking about how we're gonna do it, we're just gonna do it. Hey guys, let's do an outreach today. You bring 25 apples, you bring 25 oranges, you bring granola bars, and you bring bags, and I'll bring bows. And it was great to kind of shift the perspective on a holiday season where you just think about what you're going to eat, what parties you're going to go to, what you're going to wear, and to come together at the start of Thanksgiving morning and say, you know what, this isn't about us. This is about our community, and this is about a community that needs love and compassion. This is about a community that has been forgotten. And it's, we've done our third outreach most recently last week, and we've done 3 outreaches in 1 month, and again, everybody just wakes up ready and willing to give their selfless heart and love. And I was talking to our runners how we are the hands and feet of Jesus. All of his miracles are being performed through us, and again, being able to run to serve and being able to attach that to something tangible. We come together for a packing party. We're putting it in the bags, and the next day we're actually out in the field having conversations with the lost and the broken and really speaking life into them, because, I believe that they're all gifts to the world. I believe they have a purpose, and they just didn't have a foundation a strong foundation that was going to keep them in line, you know. And I express my runners every time, you know, even if I tried to hit rock bottom, I don't think it's possible because I have you guys around me, you know. But what about the people who are born into circumstances like this, you know? What about the people who are sick with addiction? You know, they need people like us. And, you know, I know our influence, our generation needs to be influenced like fresh people like you and I who love to look good for victory, you know, who love to dress up, who celebrate fashion and culture and music. They need to, you know, we need to reimagine what the giving community is, you know, and we have to raise up a selfless generation together, and that's going to begin with us. So we're having our fourth made with, I told my runners, I told our community, I'm like, you guys, we're going to do this once a month. We're not a living and giving season on a holiday basis. Yeah. We're going to do this once a month. And here we are. This is like our fourth one in just over a month. But I'm just addicted to giving to people because, you know, I think them seeing us for the third time in 1 month, we're building trust with them. And they're used to people who are just walking in and out of their lives, not consistent, you know? Exactly. And here we are showing up every time and praying over them, having conversations with them, getting to know who they are. And I just can't wait to get to know their testimonies, you know? Mission Impossible says together our tests become our testimonies, a mess becomes a message, you know? So I can't wait to hear these lives that are going to be transformed, you know, by the grace of God. They're going to open their hearts and have a desire to change and have a hope for the future.
Definitely.
So tomorrow we're doing a packing party at Fruition. That'll probably be around 3 p.m. It is New Year's Eve. And we come together and we create a well-balanced meal. It's going to be granola bars, peanut butter sandwich, apples, bananas, some hygiene stuff, and water. And we staple these bags up and we put a bow on them. And I want them to see that extra detail, that bow, is going to show how much more we care about them. And so New Year's Day, what better way to get the year started than to give to the community? And, you know, we got to remember that they already feel like they've been forgotten, you know? So I just want us to come together to be a reminder that they are, their presence is a present to the world.
True.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I wanted to talk to Alexa a little bit. Yeah. Something that really inspires me about Mission Impossible is how much you guys incorporate so many deep values that mean a lot to us. You know, you have family, you have religion, you have, you know, fashion, and, you know, music, everything that's really important to us. And you being such a small person, you have such a big heart. You know what I mean? You're able to speak so boldly. Like, talk a little bit about, I know you're in Bible college, and that prayer you gave before we ran that marathon, like, it literally brought a lot of us just barely to tears because it, you know, it touched us so much. Can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, definitely. I think what my flesh can't do, he can do. And I think that we definitely represent the Most High, which just encourages me, and it inspires me to want to speak boldly to the community because, you know, we are here to be a blessing to others, to work the miracles in other people's lives. And it's such a gift to know that we have this heavenly authority instilled within us, and to know that we could reach out to people and relate to people and let them know that we're here and God's here for you, and he's going to push you and he's going to lift you up. And I wouldn't be anywhere where I am today with the voice that I have if I didn't understand my value and who I belong to. Yeah. And that's what just encourages me. That's why I want to share that with people, because it's just such an overwhelming love that I know that I have, that God has given me. And his love is incomprehensible, which is crazy. And it just goes to show through the people that we have in our lives and the actions that are being brought to fruition.
Definitely. Definitely.
Preach. My God. Preach.
And if you guys don't know, Samantha and Alexa are sisters. What is the age difference again?
10 years.
10
years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And these are two bold and inspirational people, even without that.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
And I know we talked a little bit about the New Year's get together, so it's going to be on New Year's Day. At what time? Let us know.
Sure.
Let people know.
New Year's Day, it's going to be at 8:30 a.m. We meet at the top of the California Hotel and Casino in downtown. And we meet there, we have a little powwow, just kind of talk about what's about to happen. And then we walk a mile to Four Master Lane, and along the way we actually meet a lot of people. And we just come together as one community to speak life into these the needy, you know, and again, become a reminder about what love is about, you know, what giving is about. So 8:30 a.m., we usually wrap up maybe like around 10:30. Have a bite to eat afterwards, but you know, the platform is open to all. The more the merrier. We actually had like 40 people that came out the last time. Our goal was 200 bags. We created over 350 giveaways, and we actually, thank God, one of our awesome runners, his name is Mason.
Shout out
excellent,
to him.
Yeah, excellent leader and just overall awesome person. He had a pickup truck, and we actually had to fill his truck up with the bags,
so
because
many.
our bags are not just regular lunch bags. They're like the grocery brown bag
Those
shopping
were not
bags.
light.
Yeah, and they're not light at all. They're like our MIP swag bags.
There we go.
So, the more the merrier. We definitely need more people, more hands, and people who are just willing to give to something that's greater than ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like we were saying, we could go on and on with you guys, but I wanted to say thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely.
And,
Thanks
of
for
course,
having us. We're very
sharing-
honored to be here.
Definitely,
We
and
appreciate
sharing
you so
your
much.
dreams and your inspiration with everyone. It means a lot.
Oh,
It really does.
thank you for having me. I hope
For
to
sure.
see your guys' dreams come to fruition. It's been a reward for me to see how much you've grown these past few years. And
Thank you.
the hunger and drive that you guys have is unmatched. You know, I haven't seen this in many, many kids. But your leadership is going to make, again, a dent in the universe. So.
Definitely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
appreciate it.
But-
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
fun.
So definitely, you guys can check out this interview with Samantha and Alexa on illvibetheory.com. That'll be there very soon. We'll have hopefully some video and audio, and we'll have some pictures up very soon. This was a very special day for us. So thank you guys.
love
once
you
again
guys.
for coming out
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
appreciate it.
So we're gonna get back into the music. Which one you want to pick? Go ahead.
Let's go with Joey.
All right. So we